to my special Sirius Gateway, also known as the 7/7 portal video. I am doing a reading. I'm working with tarot. I don't often work with tarot these days. I am going to do a reading, a collective reading. I'm also going to talk about the significance of the Sirius Gateway, 7/7 portal. I'm going to talk a bit about the Sirians, why they're so important for humanity, and yeah, I guess we'll just see how this goes. So I filmed this the day before, so tomorrow is the Sirius Gateway, 7th of July. It is a really important kind of alignment physically between planet Earth and Sirius, but also energetically. Sirius is the brightest star in the sky. You can see it from both the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. It's really easy to spot. If you know the Orion constellation, which is like probably the most famous constellation, if you can spot the Orion constellation, you'll notice like a super bright star. Never each left. I'm trying to figure out. Left, you'll spot a big bright star left of the constellation. That's Sirius. It's actually a binary star system. So what looks like one star from Earth is actually two stars, Sirius A and Sirius B. But I'll just refer to it as Sirius for today's video. Sirius is also known as our spiritual sun, and it's played a huge part with humanity for thousands and thousands of years. The Egyptians worshipped Sirius. Sirius would always appear on the horizon around this time of year to mark the annual flooding of the Nile. So it was a really, really important star back in the days of ancient Egypt. And Isis, the amazing creator Egyptian goddess, the kind of mother of all the Egyptian deities, she herself came from Sirius. So Sirius always had a really important like influence on humanity. Sirius is important because it's our spiritual sun. It is a gateway for renewal, higher wisdom, intuition, and spiritual growth. There were originally 3 Sirius stars, Sirius A and Sirius B, which looked like one big star from planet Earth, but there was also another star in Sirius called Sirius C. I'll tell you a little bit about each of those stars. So Sirius A is, if you hear the phrase Sirian Starseeds, that's like majority of where kind of like the Sirians come from. If you hear channelers talking about Sirius, if they're like channeling Sirian beings, the likelihood it is from Sirius A. I see Sirius all the time in the Akashic records. Like most of us who are starseeds would have had incarnations in Sirius. The Sirian Mystery Schools, which I always kind of liken to the kind of the Oxford and the Cambridge, or like the Ivy League. If you wanted to study psycho-spiritual healing, Sirius was the place to do it, at the Sirian Mystery Schools. And the Ascended Masters all studied at the Sirian Mystery Schools. And actually Sirius, when it comes to like psycho-spiritual healing, they are the experts. I always say to people, if you ever need any healing, you want to work with guides, you call in the Sirians, because they are like the master psycho-spiritual healers in the universe. You've also got a smaller star, Sirius B. Sirius B, the Nomo tribe, the tribes in Africa that's kind of worshipped the Nomo. They're like the aquatic beings. They come from Sirius B, as do mermaids. I myself had incarnations in Sirius B. And then Sirius C is where the Anunnaki, who you may well have heard from, the Anunnaki come from Sirius C, but Sirius C doesn't exist anymore. That's a kind of a story for another day. And the Sirians, they are all about service to humanity. They're the experts in the healing, like I've already said. They have so much sacred knowledge, and they are kind of service to humanity. They're really helping humanity right now as part of the Ascension process. If you resonate with any of the following, then it's a really good indication that you've had past lives in Sirius. So like I said, you'll be drawn to kind of helping others, because the Sirians are all about service to humanity. You'll probably have an interest, or you may well have trained in alternative healing modalities. Very strong intuition, really strong intuition. Sirius is also known as the dog star. If you're drawn to dogs, that's another classic. You've had lifetimes in Sirius. If you're drawn to Egypt, the Isis connection that I've already spoken about, they're all really good telltale signs that you have had past lives in Sirius. And actually, I think pretty much every Akashic Records consultation that I do, I kind of always see Sirius in there, because the Sirians have helped. They helped seed kind of humanity, like humans as we know them today. There was a lot of help from the Sirians going back a long time ago, but again, that's a story for another day, another video. So I'm working with my special Sirian Starseed Tarot. I was actually gifted this tarot deck. Ooh, when I was doing loads of tarot, I want to say about 6-7 years ago. I knew I'd had lives in Sirius. I kind of had like contact with the Sirians by this point. I wasn't doing Akashic readings or anything like that, but it's a really nice piece of synchronicity. I was gifted these cards like 7-8 years ago, which is a nice like nod. Even back then, the Sirians were coming through, wanting me to kind of remember and understand part of my heritage. So I'm working with this tarot deck, like I've said. Oh, I've got a little robin. I'm in my garden. I've just put some food down, and the little robin may make an appearance. You may see the robin flitting around. So I've asked the tarot cards, I've asked, what energy is the Sirius Gateway inviting us to release right now? And the card that I pulled for this is the Three of Chalices. Three of Cups, if you're more familiar with traditional tarot. If you're familiar with traditional tarot, the Three of Cups is symbolic of like good times, celebrations. If you're in a like committed relationship, it would indicate an engagement coming. I feel very strongly for the purpose of the question that I've asked, which is what energy is the Sirius Gateway inviting us to release, and it came through really strongly is it's time to energetically let go of those old relationships, those old friendships that are no longer meeting you where you are right now. This is something I really resonate with. I was at a kind of sound bath earlier, and I had this huge download about, you know, these certain people in my life that aren't particularly supportive of where I am on my journey, like doing this sort of stuff. They don't really approve of what I do, and I realized, oh, it's because I've grown. They're still kind of in the same place they were. I'm the one that's kind of moving forward, and you know, if they can't meet me where I am, that's fine. You can still have love in your heart. But for me, and I feel very strongly as well, the Sirians are guiding us right now. It's to allow yourself to kind of move forward energetically. Don't give these old, could be family members, it could be friendships, don't give them as much energy as you used to if they're not able to meet you where you are right now, because you've simply, can you hear the gulls? They're kind of saying the same thing here. The kind of the message is you're moving forward, you're elevating, you're ascending, you're raising your vibration, and these people just aren't where you are anymore. It's like you've outgrown them. The Three of Cups, or Three of Chalices in this case, is minor arcana. So minor arcana in tarot is kind of, it's not like huge soul lesson stuff. It still has an impact day to day, but it's not like huge, massive kind of, your soul chose this to help you, you know, on your soul's journey and understand some really key lessons for you. So I kind of feel, because this is minor arcana as well, it's like, don't make a big thing about this. It's fine. You can still have love for these people in your heart, but don't give them so much energy. Kind of energetically put some boundaries up. So that's the kind of first card. And the second card that I pulled, and I asked the cards, if you release what you're showing us to release, what gifts become available to us once we do that. And the card that I pulled is abundance. This is also known as the Empress. So if you're familiar with traditional tarot, this card is the Empress card in traditional tarot, but in the deck that I'm working with today, this card is called Abundance. Interestingly, I love symbology, a bit of numerology. The last card was Three of Chalices, and this is number 3 in the major arcana. You got 2 3s. You know, a 3 on its own is an odd number, a bit out of balance, but actually when you add both cards together, it gives you 6. It will create more balance. And I feel this is another indication of, if you release these relationships that are kind of not meeting you where you are anymore, it's going to help you, because 3 + 3 = 6. It's an even balanced number. It's going to just help you feel more balanced within yourself, which is like really important, you know, for grounding. Yeah, so going back to the card, the Abundance, or it's the Empress in traditional tarot. What I loved is the Empress is a very divine feminine figure. The Sirians, a divine feminine civilization. So I thought that was a really nice nod to the card that's come through. The Empress, if you remember the last question, release those relationships and the kind of energetically that are kind of holding you back. They're not meeting you where you are. If you do that, you're going to be like the Empress. You know, the Empress, she embodies, she lives for pure embodiment. She doesn't hold on to relationships that have served their purpose. She releases them and she wishes them well. And that's kind of another lovely synchronicity with the card that we pulled a moment ago. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've gotten to the end, thank you so much. Would love to know what your thoughts are on this video. Do you resonate with being a Sirian Starseed? Did you have lives in Sirius? What do you think about the cards? What do you think about the reading? Would love some feedback if you wanted to share that in the comments. Would love you to like this video, and if you felt called to, if you wanted to give a subscribe, that would be brilliant. Thank you for watching, and enjoy your Sirius Gateway today.